Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Developing as Dr. K. Today I want to talk to you guys about some common terms and things you may hear when applying for scholarships. You're like, what is all this stuff? I don't know what this stuff means. I need a merit-based, need-based. I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit about the terms, things you may hear when you're applying for scholarships and things like that. Let's get into it. So before we get into the terminology, I want to tell you all that you should not, I repeat, not be paying for scholarships, okay? Scholarships are meant to give you money and not to take your money, okay? So if anybody's ever like, oh, can you put in your social security number? Can you send me your, your banking information, your credit card information? It's not a scholarship, it's a scam. Okay, so just go ahead, get away from that. We don't need that, that's not the one. The first kind of scholarship that we're gonna talk about are institutional-based scholarships, okay? So these scholarships are scholarships that come directly from your school and get applied to your account. If you apply to Spelman, for instance, which you totally should, if you are a woman, Black woman in particular, or Morehouse if you are a male, Black male, I strongly suggest that you apply. When you apply, you'll see that there are several kinds of scholarships that are directly from the institution. Some of those scholarships are endowed scholarships, okay? So that means that someone from the institution or some supporter of the institution has a scholarship that they feed into every year, or that several people feed into every year, so that it can keep going, so that it can last throughout the longevity of the institution. When you get an institutional scholarship, they put it directly on your account, so you don't need to apply anything to it or anything like that. Some institutional scholarships come without you even having to apply for them. Others you do need to apply for. So sometimes in your offer letter, when you get from schools, you get what's called a financial package, okay? And in your financial package, you may see $30,000 presidential scholarship, or insert name here, endowment scholarship, okay? And that just means that it's directly from the school. So the next kind of scholarship that I want to talk to you guys about are merit-based scholarships, okay? Merit-based scholarships are scholarships that are based on your performance, on things that you do. So like how well you did in school, and some people even consider athletic scholarships as merit-based scholarships because it's based on your performance, how well you do in sports, okay? So these you will more than likely have to apply to, unless like you have a recruiter who offers you one, then more than likely this is going to be a scholarship that you end up applying to. These are a little competitive because a lot of people have similar academic achievements, especially when you look at schools that are very elite or that have great prestige, right? A lot of people that's applying to them are people that, are in the top so-and-so percent of their class, right? Or they are legacy students, right? Which leads me to talk about our next type of scholarship, which is legacy scholarships. Legacy scholarship is a scholarship that you can get if your mother, father, grandparents, great-grandparents, aunts, uncles went to an institution and graduated from that institution. So what happens generally is several institutions set aside funds within a specialized account that is only for legacy students, okay? And these scholarships can be very small or they can be kind of nice, right? Pretty large. It just depends on the school and kind of, how much people sow into these scholarships. You can only get these if if you're a direct descendant of someone who went through the institution and graduated, That's essential, and graduated. Something that you may hear are renewable scholarships. Okay, a renewable scholarship is a scholarship that you don't have to reapply to it every year, but you can still get the same amount generally from it every year. Sometimes they do have decrementing amounts. So you get 20,000 this year. Okay, next year you get 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 until you graduate, right? Now, renewable scholarships do have a deadline, so it's not like, oh, I got this renewable scholarship, I'm gonna just stay in school forever. No, they already know about that game. They already cut that out before it even started. So basically, renewable means that you can keep renewing up until the year limit deadline. Generally, it's gonna be 5 years. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 3, right? You just really need to read the terms of renewable scholarships to understand what makes you eligible to receive the scholarship again that next year, right? And you should also really be aware of when the scholarship runs out, when you can't apply for it anymore. You want to keep up with that, just so that you know that you are on track for graduation. So another type of scholarship that you may hear about are need-based scholarships. Need-based scholarships come from your financial need. How much do you need to go to school? Now, need is calculated a different kind of way. I'm just telling y'all already, it's really not even right. But the way that need is calculated is by looking at your FAFSA. Okay, when they look at your FAFSA, they're gonna say, we really expect you to be able to pay a set amount of money. That's your EFC, your expected family contribution. So when they look at your expected family contribution, they're gonna say, we kind of expect, you're gonna see a number on your FAFSA. They're gonna say, we expect your family to be able to give the institution $500 this year, $3,000 this year, $10,000 this year, right? And it is based on how much your family made for that year. If you are an independent, meaning, and there is an explicit definition for what makes someone an independent, which you will find on the FAFSA website. I probably will do a separate video on FAFSA and like filling that out, and just some things that you may see on there that you need to be aware of. So if you are an individual, meaning you don't file jointly with someone, generally you only file with someone if you are married, okay? So if you don't file jointly with someone and you don't, and you are a single individual and you qualify as an independent based on what FAFSA classifies as an independent, then they will only look at your finances. You are able to put in what your parents make as well, but it doesn't factor into anything. So it's really no point in making them go through that trouble, especially because if you're independent, then they're probably not gonna be living in the same household as you. So it's just gonna be a lot more trouble for you to go through. Oh, can you send me your tax information? Can I pull your tax information? All that stuff. No need. Just put your information on there and then you won't have to worry about that. So they're going to look at what your need is based on that expected family contribution. So say you go to a school that costs $50,000 a year and they expect you to be able to pay $3,000 that year. Based on your family or yourself, either way, you get one EFC each year. And subtract those numbers, and then they're gonna get 47,000. But that's not all they do. That's not all they do with need-based scholarships. The next thing they do, they take it a step further. They look at your FAFSA even harder, and they say, okay, you probably could take out $20,000 worth of loans. That's what we're willing to offer you. That's what the government is willing to give you to go to school in loans, which you gotta pay back with interest. We're not doing loans. But anyway, whether you take them or not, let me say that another way. Whether you put the loan on your account or not, it still factors into, are you need-based? Okay? So let's say they say you qualify for the government for $20,000 loan. They're going to subtract that from that $47,000. Yes, they are. Now, if you have any other smaller scholarships that go to the university, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to subtract whatever little scholarships that you get. Okay, $500 here, $1,000 there, subtract. They're looking at what is your overall need. How much more money do you need to come here or to come to an institution? A lot of some need-based scholarships are external. They're not attached to the university. You could take them anywhere you want to go. So that's great news, right? But that particular part right there, yeah, they're going to subtract that too. So let's say they go on and say, well, you got $12,000. Okay, so they're going to subtract that $27,000 from the $12,000. Sorry, I'm in the city, a lot of noise. So now they're going to say that, okay, your need is $15,000. Because even though your need may be greater than that, because you may not accept the loans, right? Because of whatever reason, I suggest, I'll do a video on loans. I'm not going to say what I suggest now, but the goal is not to have loans, government funded or otherwise. I will do a video on different types of loans, just in case you're at your last resort, you're at your wit's end, and you need to get enrolled, okay? I'm gonna talk about that later, but you may not take those loans. Your family may not have $3,000 to apply to your account. You don't have to apply the EFC, but they're saying, we expect you to be able to, okay? Based on your income from 2 years ago, actually. You may not accept those things, but you're still gonna have that bill. And that's not going to change what your need-based amount is, okay? So that's how that works. Hopefully that makes sense. So another thing about the institutional scholarships is that your scholarship doesn't go anywhere else. So if you transfer schools, or if you say, thank you, school X, but I don't want to go there anymore, that money is not going to go with you anywhere else, okay? So whatever money that you get from this institution, that's for this institution. Now, maybe the other schools will offer you some money as well, but it's not transferable. Even after you start at the school, the money doesn't follow you when you leave. Hey everybody, just wanted to let you know that I'm gonna put a pause right here, put a stop on it. We'll be right back with part 2. The video is a little bit too long. I'm still new at it and I'm getting adjusted to it. So stay tuned for part 2 to keep learning about scholarships. And thank you for hanging with me so far.